All right, so moving on from that, 28. Each woman has a temperature that can heal or irritate you. Most men have a good initiative sense of the difference between a woman who is cool and soothing and a woman who is hot and exciting, regardless of how they describe it. And this difference between has a lot to do with why men have different tastes for women and why your taste could change over time. And that's on page 101. Have you had a type and has it changed over time?
I imagine so, in regards to things changing over time. I think you mature, your views change with experience, etc., etc. So yeah, I think so. I don't know. Over the past, I'm not too sure how long this has been, but over the past, so I was gonna say too much. No, I will say too much, or maybe not. I'm struggling to get the words out. So obviously, a couple of weeks ago, we were having a laugh and a joke as to me saying, actually, you know what? I've kind of changed my mind as to this whole dating thing, and that I would like to be in a relationship. Not that I've ever downplayed the thought of being in a relationship. This is just it was at odds with some of my previous comments, obviously in our weekly conversations. So it came across quite funny.
Say the least.
So no. Oh, that's strong. That's strong there. So it came across quite funny. And maybe I don't know, maybe this is subconsciously. Maybe I was thinking about maybe people that I've maybe seen before and what I kind of like, if that makes any sense. And I'm not too sure what I liked previously, but I think I'll say what I like now in some way, shape, or form, and this is only a characteristic. I've enjoyed being in the presence of people who are funny. And I know everybody does, but like I generally like being in the presence of other girls or females. Females is a word that you're not allowed to use anymore. Other women who are it's a mad one.
What did you say? No.
You're not allowed to say female. I was literally I was
what?
I read this. I saw this on YouTube, and then I've also.
Can't say what? This is mad to me. Go on.
I'll say it briefly anyway. No, I had someone look over my book before, and they pulled me up on the word female. But anyway, that's another matter.
Do you know about this, Mace? Have you heard about this?
Nah, I don't know about this.
Yeah, they pulled me up on the word female. I forget where I was going as such, but yeah, no, I just generally enjoy being in the company of women who are funny. Obviously,
Can you use the word male?
I think I'm not too sure. I think I was pulled up on female, but I imagine it's both male and female. I've had to change words in my book because of this.
So what about when you go to the toilets in a restaurant or bar or something? It says male and female.
I'm not too sure. They might be changed now, or changing.
To what? To what though?
Men and women, maybe. I'm not too sure.
What? All right. Do you know what? Yeah, we'll keep it pushing. Cool. What about you, Mace?
The question, because
I thought so. Yeah, no, we're talking male, female.
What was you referring to? I forgot now.
Have you had the type, and has it changed?
Oh, the type. Yeah. My taste. I've got an eclectic taste. So yeah, I've never had a specific type that I've pinned down. The only thing I would say is that over time, my taste is definitely, I need to feel more of your personality a lot more than your.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I'm referencing the book though in terms of hot and cold. Because he talks about knowing if you need a hot or cold woman, and like it changes.
Because it speaks about Latin women and like, what's going on here? Like I was thinking, what is? Wait, I want to.
Okay.
He ends up saying something that I thought was outrageous.
What?
That's it. All right, some women are hotter and some are cooler. In general, blonde, light-skinned Japanese and Chinese women are cooler. Dark-skinned, brunette, red-headed, Korean, and Polynesian women are hotter. He goes on anyway. Anyway, I don't want to go on.
You know what? I think what I
would say that was controversial though.
I don't know. Maybe something I didn't quite agree with. I mean, again, maybe it was quite general as to.
Yeah, broad statement.
Yeah, it was quite a broad statement. It's speaking about Latin women and them being fiery, and obviously dark skinned women, brunette, redheads.
Because they're stereotypes. It's like a stereo, like in general. It's not obviously not. It's not saying this is every single woman that's Latino is going to be this way inclined. It's like saying every single man is. They're all going to be masculine.
To be fair, he says this later on down here. But I mean, I did read it. But I mean, as I said, or I say this in my book review. To be fair, he says things which I find a bit controversial, and then as you read the chapter a little bit more, there's obviously a bit more context to it. So he says, of course, not all redheads or Latinas are hot, blah blah blah. Nor are all blondes cool. But yeah, sorry, to your question.
So what's the controversial part?
No, well, that's gone now. No, I was saying as I was reading it, so I don't want to say I was incorrect, but I said as I was reading, there was something in there which I thought was a bit mad.
What I would say is that all women offer a different type of experience. So what I would say is that but he's kind of made reference to a few type of women, older, like, you know, Latin American, fiery redhead, all blonde, blue eyes, cool, all that kind of stuff. I'd say just try and, I was gonna say go for them all, but just try and experience many different. All women are different, man. Just try and experience different cultures if you can. Essentially, that's what I would say. And yeah, that's what.
And in reference to hot and cold, have you had a preference over time? Has it changed? Has it?
I don't. I'm trying to think of, because obviously, in our heads as a group here, hot-headed or fiery woman is going to be a kind of more Latin American, Spanish, that type of. I'm trying to think whether I've actually dated someone who's more hot-tempered, but I just think that, like, just seeing and judging by what that might bring with it, I don't think I would want that, to be fair, in terms of like someone who's fiery, hot-tempered, you know, it's a bit too much. I want a little bit more of a chilled life, if I'm honest.
Cool. All right, so if you want change, would you expect your partner to make that change, and what would you do?
If I want change for myself or for my partner?
Good question.
From your partner. So say, all right, so to set up the scenario, say you're cool, essentially. We're just gonna talk about hot and cold, essentially. So you're cool and your missus is fiery. And initially you're attracted to the fieriness, you love it, like that's what gets you going. Then after a bit of time, you think, do you know what? This fiery thing ain't really working for me. I want her to cool down a bit. Would you expect her to cool down, or would it be a case of changing your woman possibly, or having your expectations change yourself?
I wouldn't expect anything. What I would do though is raise my concerns or raise things that are not quite working for me and see how we can work around it. So I'm sure and vice versa, there's going to be things that don't work for her on my end. If she's fiery and I'm always laid back, lethargic, she's going to be like boosted up a bit. So I think it would be a case of just trying to come to a bit more of common ground and just trying to just airing out essentially what things you want not change, but it's more of an F. So if someone's hot-tempered, it might be that they fly off the handle. The moment you say something, they fly off the handle. And actually, it might just be the case of, do you know what? Everything I say doesn't have to be, it can just be a discussion. It doesn't have to be flying off the handle. We can just have a talk about it. It's just because when you fly off the handle, all of a sudden, what the main purpose or topic of what we were trying to discuss goes out the window, because now we're just shouting and screaming at each other. So it could be something like that. So I wouldn't expect change, but I wouldn't expect change. I would talk about what we can work on, essentially. And obviously, if at the end of the day, then after a while, that actually we're just not compatible. We're just not compatible. That's how I view it anyway.
Yeah, I think Mason's spot on, really. I mean, I think there's some things which you're going to. No, I mean, yeah, I agree entirely with what Mason said. I think that that trait might be naturally her, but there might be things in which, so there might be things within that trait within a specific, I don't know, a specific thing which, I don't know. She may say something which she may say something in reaction to something you do quite often, which you don't like. I think if you raise it, I think that she might be a bit more considerate, as to actually not, as Mason put it, flying off the handle rails. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe just think about the situation a little bit more instead of being a bit more reactionary in that specific scenario.
Cool. All right, so I don't know. Yeah, there's a scenario in the book. He refers to a man's wife's friend. No, his wife's friends coming over and giving him a massage, then leaving. If that scenario is flipped, do you think that could run?
Nah. Nah, man.
Do you think that scenario can run anyway? Like
that scenario should, unless she's a professional masseuse, that scenario shouldn't be running. That's
We should know our boundaries.
Say that again, Fox?
I think we should all know our boundaries. I mean, it might be innocent, but we all have boundaries.
Yeah, I just think that's, especially if it's someone you know as well. I just think that's a tad too intimate. That's what I think.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a bit wild. That's
Yeah.
one part I did think was like, how is that going to go down? I don't see how that would go down, but it's not something. If I flip the scenario, that's not happening. So, yeah, I think that would be a bit, as you said, it's a bit intimate, and especially if you've come, because in the scenario, basically the friend comes over when a wife's not there,
yeah,
and still stays to chill, to give her friend's husband a massage, then leave. I wonder, is there a conversation to say, right, I got a massage from your friend, and how did that conversation go? But again, yeah, it's a scenario that he's put forward. So the last part before I round it off, you can change your diet to a more cooling diet. You can keep your body cooler wearing breathable clothes. Take soothing walks around lakes or along rivers and let the water absorb the heat of your day. Or you can receive a cooling energy directly from a woman, even non-sexually, i.e. a massage. And that's on page 103. Before we go to part 4, is there anything else any of you wanted to add?
No.
No, I've got nothing. No.
Cool. Part 4, what women really want. Choose a woman who chooses you. That's on 29. I didn't note anything down, so I'm going to move on to 30. What she wants is not always what she says. So sometimes a woman will make a request of a man in plain English and not get him to do something, but to see if he is so weak that he will do it. In other words, she is testing her capacity to do what is right, not what she's asking for. In such cases, if the man does what his woman asks, she will be disappointed and angry. The man will have no idea why she's angry or what could possibly please her. He must remember that her trust is engendered by not by him fulfilling her request, but by him magnifying love, consciousness, and success in their lives, in spite of her request. And that's on page 108. How do you perceive this outlook, challenge, or burden, and why?
I'm a simple specimen. Don't play these games. Just, don't tell me one thing and then, if I do that one thing, and that's not what, I ain't got time for that. That's I ain't got time for it, man. Honestly, and I know there probably is or are women out there like that. I can't bother to play them games. It's too much going on in life for these foolishness, essentially.
Well, I don't know what to say. I mean, who do you think I am, Merlin or something? I ain't got time to play these games either. I ain't got time for these games either. So yeah, I'm in Mason's side of the court.
Cool. 31. Her complaint is content free. I'm gonna skip through about 3 chapters. So if there's anything before I move on to the next 2, let me know now. Yeah,
No.
All right, so skipping 31 and 32, which is her complaint is content free and she doesn't really want to be number one. 33, your excellent track record is meaningless to her. A man's track record means nothing to the feminine. A man could be perfect for 10 years, but if he's an arsehole for 30 seconds, his woman will act like he's always been one. The feminine responds to the moment of energy, forgetting her man's history of past behavior is irrelevant to his woman's feeling in the moment. But men base much on another man's history of behavior, so they think their own track record should count for something. But to a woman, it doesn't, and that's on page 119. Is there hypocrisy? Hypocrisy there, yeah. So, for example, you buy your partner flowers every week, month on end. Then, for whatever reason, you don't get them for 1 week. Will she not remember that the history? Would she not remember that the history with a now expectation of receiving the flowers and still become upset because of that past behavior?
I think there's a little bit of hypocrisy in there. I don't know why I was thinking of football as you read the title. You know what I mean? In a derby, you know what I mean? All form goes out the window. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's. Yeah, I do. I think there's a bit of hypocrisy there, really. Truth be told, I think if your behavior's been really good up to a certain point, and then there's. No, I think it's a bit of both, if I'm honest. I mean, in regards to the flowers thing, yes, but I mean, I don't know. You could have cheated. I mean, you know, and it doesn't necessarily.
That's one extreme to another. Like, wow.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a bit of both, really. So, I mean, as to the flowers thing, yeah. I mean, I think there's a bit of hypocrisy there, or I don't necessarily agree with that. But at the same time, your excellent track record is meaningless to her. If you've done something bad, such as something like cheating, you know, I mean, you still cheated.
All right. So besides, what about middle ground? Like, not so much on the extreme side.
I mean, I know what you mean by middle ground. I can't think of an example, but I think middle ground should be cool because I don't think it's a major.
I'll give you an example. Family gatherings. Like, you go to all her family gatherings that she asks you to come to. Then 1 week you choose to, I don't know, go out with the boys or whatever it may be. Just fill in the blank, and you don't make it to the family function. Do you think she still has the, I wouldn't say right, that's a bit strong, but the leg to stand on to have a moan and a grumble for you not attending this one time?
Yeah, I mean, I think she does if it's something that you've agreed upon. But again, if you've made a decision that you don't want to go, or you would rather go out with not even you would rather go out with the boys. I mean, I've kind of lost my train of thought, really, and not lost it, but I think if you've gone to previous ones, then I don't think it's much of an issue because it's not like you haven't committed to them before. It kind of depends, really. I think there's a bit of a yes or no, in my opinion, anyway. If you agreed to go out with the boys prior, and then obviously a family function comes up, you've agreed to go out with the guys. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if you agree to go out with her and go to the family function, then you decide to go out with the boys, I can see why she's upset. But at the same time, if you haven't seen the guys in a while, then I can see a bit of both. But I mean, I don't see why she should forget your previous track record as to going to previous family functions and your relationship with her in-laws and the rest of the family. There'll be other functions.
You joining us, Mace?
Yeah, I don't know. Once again, I just think he's Mr. Deida's made another statement here that not necessarily 100% factual. I mean, if I use the first example of cheating, Pox, obviously, if your missus finds out you've cheated on her, in that moment, you not cheating is not going to be for the past 5 years. It's not going to be top of her list. And in her head, she'll be thinking, well, we're in a relationship once. You shouldn't be cheating once anyway. But like something like a family function, which is maybe in that moment, as he's put in there, in that moment of emotion, of acting out of impulse and emotion, then there might be a bit of annoyance. But I think afterwards, if you can explain the situation that you can't make it, or do you know what, you've been to the last 4, you haven't seen Roy in I don't know, 6 months, then I don't know. In my own personal situation, this doesn't really happen to me in terms of like not my past behavior, but like in terms of me not be able to attend something. Like for instance, there's like a what do you call it? Like a Zoom call with some of my missus' friends coming up on next week, and I've already said I can't make it. Actually, it's next Monday. I said I can't make it. I'm doing my podcast. It wasn't a big issue at all. It is okay. Well, I'm doing my podcast. Simple as that. Can't make the call. Like, not a big deal. I've been on Zoom calls with her friends before. Once one miss is not a big deal. So I don't know. I think I don't quite agree with what he's saying there.
Cool. Just to, well, it's not even to wrap it up, but further on down, he does say, remember, history is irrelevant to the feminine, so your mistake is easily forgotten as your successes. And that's on page 120.
The feminine boy. Jesus.
All right, moving on slightly. As soon as you see she's upset, immediately assume happiness. Shock her with your love. Make her smile and laugh with your humor. Lick her neck or lift her off the ground and pretend you're King Kong. And that's on page 120. Could this not be considered as undermining her present state if genuinely upset?
Yeah, of course. Do you know what? We'll get to the book review, but this is just an example.
Hey, this guy makes it itching.
This is just another example of just the way to how degrading my man can be, man. I'm sorry. Energy that I'm sorry, bro. You're the one typing these words and approving them all.
Who's your editor?
He's mocking. I'm sorry. He's mocking. He's mocking, bro. So, let me quickly go and lick your neck. You're mocking, bro. I'm sorry.
When you read that, I said, who is this, a child?
When you read that, were you saying, nah, this is not to be taken literally because the deep underlying meaning. I know you went.
Nah, I'm not even gonna lie. Still, I purposely put that in there because I was like, yeah, that's a bit wild. Still, but I mean, each to their own. I would say on that one, each to their own. If that's something you do, then by all means, continue doing it.
I understand what he means by trying to change the mood, but I mean, like, you know, yeah, it was just funny.
All these got.
Yeah. Don't take the suggestions literally.
You just got to have a conversation. You're upset. Have a conversation. Find out. Not none of this lick neck and pick up, lift off the floor, beat your. What the fuck?
It's your 4-year-old child, boy. They fell over. You're trying to get him to just completely forget what happened seconds before.
All right, cool. Is there anything else anyone wants to add?
No.
Cool. So 34, she wants to relax in the demonstration of your direction. I didn't note anything down, so we'll move to part 5. Your dark side. 35, you are always searching for freedom. So I didn't really write any questions down for this part, but there's a few excerpts and maybe you might want to discuss one of them. So in the typical masculine desire for freedom involves the feeling of death, which is ultimate masculine fear and freedom in one way or another. Orgasm is actually called petite mort or little death in French, and that's on page 127. The capacity to face death for the sake of freedom, whether actually in war or ritually on the football field or chessboard, is the ultimate masculine act, evoking men's deepest emotions. And you must own the primacy of your desire to be free. Then you can enjoy the lesser forms of masculine ecstasy, but dedicate yourself to its highest form, transcendence of the fear of death by facing the limiting stress of your own self-sense and relaxing through into the absolute freedom you've always initiated at your core, but sought through only temporary means. And it's on page 128. What was your interpretation of this?
Sorry, give me a second. I don't know. I mean, like in reference to like like freedom and stuff like that. I mean, I don't want to say I guess that's who I am, but I mean, I think when you're holding things back and when there's restrictions, I don't think you can ever be your true self. And I know he goes on to discuss this in, I think maybe other chapters within chapter 5, in reference to like owning your darkest desires and stuff like that. I don't know. I just find it difficult to restrict yourself in some way, shape, or form. I don't think you can ever be your I don't want to say your bestest self, but it's very difficult to be at your best if you're holding things back, unless they are toxic, if that's the right word.
Mm. Is she joining us this time or?
Internet's playing up bad. Sorry, what was I missed the question? I missed like half the snippet you read out as well.
Okay. Oh, yeah. That means that.
Skip me for this one.
Just move on still. All right, cool. In the end, the feminine search for love and masculine search for freedom reach the same destination. The unbounded and infinite ground of being who you are, which is both absolute love and freedom. But until you finally relax into your place, you always are. Your woman will continue to release yourself through television, orgasm, and financial success, in the hope of being emptied of stress into unconstrained freedom. And that's on page 129. Anyone want to add to that before I move on?
No, I'm not too sure I understood that in entirety. But I think,
you know what? I think I put two different sentences together.
You did.
Yeah. All right. So 36. Own your darkest desires. The difference between rape and ravishment is love. Yeah. Page 131. I don't know why I marked that down. There's a reason. I'm sure there was.
Do you want to read that again? The difference between?
The difference between rape and ravishment is love.
Like, it's like I don't want to start again. But it's stuff like that. But anyway, no, it's just kind of like stuff like that that made me. Obviously, we're not doing book reviews now. That left me a bit confused at times. So, no, I'm being honest. So, like, there's part of me that understands. I'm not saying I understand this. All right. So, like, there's part of me that understands what he's referring to, because I think there are things from a sexual standpoint that.
Love, the difference between rape and ravishment is consent. I don't know. I don't know where he's come with this love thing.
I'm not talking about that. What I'm saying is, I think there are not fantasies. Oh God, there are things that I think people are interested in sexually that people hold and keep to themselves, and then unfortunately come to the surface. But that's not. I don't even know if that's what I'm talking about. The point I think I was trying to make is, I think there are things that people are really interested in, but at the same time, inhibit or try to put a lid over, and in so it becomes a. I don't know. As he says, it finds a dark place, if that makes any sense. So my point was, or I think my point is, I understand. There's sometimes I understand what he's talking about, but because there's a bit of truth in what he's talking about, it doesn't necessarily mean it's right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. I get that.
It doesn't make it right. So, yeah, I'm not going to go back. There's something I don't even want to say out loud, because I just think it's mad. You know what I mean? Like, an 18-year-old can look good, but it doesn't mean. It doesn't mean. You know, it's a go zone. It's no go. We talking about you're sitting in your car, breathing deeply.
Love it.
Let's move on.
Move on. 37. She wants to kill it in you. Among many other qualities, a woman wants the killer in her man. She is turned off if her man is afraid and wants her to kill the cockroach or the mouse while he stands on the chair and watches. She is turned off if her man wants her to get out of bed in order to check the strange sounds in the house to find out if a burglar made the noise. Fearlessness, or the capacity to transcend the fear of death for the sake of love, is a quintessential form of the ultimate masculine gift. And that's on page 34. Do you think this is being lost nowadays?
You think so? Within women?
I'm asking a question. Do you think this is being lost nowadays?
I'm not too sure. It might not be something that's discussed, but I'd imagine. I mean, if we speak from a woman's perspective, because that's what we're talking about, that if someone was breaking into your home, I think, I don't want to say naturally, but you would kind of expect if someone's going to check it, it's probably going to be the man. No?
I mean, yeah, in my house, yeah.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not tiptoeing around this. I mean, you'd like to believe it was a man who was going to check out if there's any danger downstairs.
Mm.
I don't think I'm breaking any PC laws here, but I mean, yeah, it might not be something that's discussed, but that's what I think would happen.
What about you, Mace? What's your thoughts? Do you think this is being lost nowadays, this sentiment?
I don't. I mean, without having any stats, I don't think so. I don't think so. If that's what Mr. Deida thinks the woman wants, then no.
You're mocking me.
I honestly don't. I mean, in terms of what we're looking at, so like, like I've had mouse when I was at my mum's and that, and like I've been the one who's, do you know what I mean? I've been shook. I've done the investigations, and then little things like where you thought you've heard noises, man's got up and out of bed and all that stuff. So, yeah, I don't think it's being lost. Personally, I don't think it's being lost.
Cool. Your woman's desire for your dark side in love is a gift to you. The killer your woman wants is the one who knows that life is a process of dying through to that which cannot be lost. Only in this sacrifice of fear can your heart remain unguarded. Moving on to 38. She needs your consciousness to match her energy. Whatever energy she offers you, you can be sure the world will offer it to you as well. If you have ever tried to increase your income or magnify your spiritual clarity, you know that the world will test you. Only through persistence, fearlessness, and loving service does the world yield to your efforts. And that's on page 139. And the same is true of your woman. You are not trying to please her. You are learning to pervade the world, including her, with consciousness and love. This is what you are here to do. And that's on page 139 also.